ever felt like you're constantly explaining what it is that you do, but people simply do not get it? Like, no matter how much content you create, how many emails you put out there, how many videos you create, it's not leading to the high level, ready to buy clients that you really, really want to attract into your business. The thing is, if your message is not landing, it's not because you need a better funnel or a bigger audience or you need to create more content. It's very, very likely that there is a very big gap between what you know and what your audience actually understands as the thing that they actually need. And the thing is that that gap is very likely costing you a lot of money. It's costing you clients. So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into why most experts struggle to communicate their value and what you can do to fix that right away. By the end of this episode, you're gonna know exactly how to shift your messaging so that your ideal clients hear you, feel seen by you, and ultimately they take action by investing in you, which obviously is exactly what you want. So let's kind of break this down. What I see happening basically all the time when I talk to experts and coaches and consultants is that they are experts. You're an expert. You've spent years refining your skills, learning the different strategies, seeing what works, what doesn't work, creating methods, creating systems. But when you try to talk about what you do, it either comes out really complicated and very technical, and you're essentially overwhelming your audience with language that is too complicated, or it's really vague and it sounds exactly like everybody else and what everybody else out there is saying. And so this is basically what I like to call the expert's curse, because the more that you know, oftentimes it is very hard for you to explain to people what you do in a way that is very simple and still compelling at the same time. And the thing is that I see experts make basically the same two mistakes. Like, either they're dumbing their message down a lot to make it really simple, so it sounds extremely generic and does not stand out at all, or you're going the opposite direction and you're just complicating it so much your audience is like tuning out because they feel like they don't even need what you're offering. It's too much, right? Either way, it simply is not landing for these people. So you want to make sure that you do this differently. And honestly, I see this happening with my clients all the time. Like, for example, recently I worked with a client who's a leadership coach. And when she came to me, her message was something like, just using these very, very complicated phrases like, I'm going to help you develop psychological safety through authentic leadership paradigms. And I was like, what? I don't even understand what that means. And while technically that may be very well accurate, it's not how her power buyers are thinking about their problems. They're probably thinking, I just keep on losing great employees and I don't know why. So there's a big disconnect between what they think the problem is and how she's communicating that, right? So that happens when you're operating from a place of solution awareness while your audience is still in problem awareness, very likely, right? And so what you need to understand about power buyers is that they don't buy based off of information. They buy based off of clarity, off of certainty. I mean, think about it, right? These are very smart and successful people who are very actively looking for solutions for the problems that they have. They don't need to be convinced that they have a problem in the first place, right? What they need instead is somebody that can go in there and really essentially diagnose what is really going on with them right now, shifting their perspective on why the previous solutions that they've invested in, they tried before, haven't worked, and then making your solution feel essentially like the antidote to the problem that they have. So let me give you a few examples of how that works in different niches. Like, for example, with weight loss, right? You're saying things like, I'm going to help you develop like sustainable nutrition habits. Nobody wants to buy habits, by the way. So you want to move away from that and say, I help busy executives stop stress eating their way through 60-hour weeks and finally feel in control of their health without feeling they need to give up their career momentum, right? So can you see how that speaks directly to power buyers and what they really care about? Nobody wants to buy habits. Or, for example, take one of my clients who is a business coach. She used to say, I help you scale your business with systems and processes. Again, good, but not right there. And now she's saying, I help you go from being trapped in the day-to-day chaos to having a business that runs without you being the bottleneck for what you do. So that is the type of message that gets power buyers to stop scrolling and actually pay attention to what you're doing and what you're actually selling. So if your message isn't landing, what do we do? Like, how do we fix it? So let's walk you through the 3-step process I walk my clients through as well. I'm gonna explain the 3 things that you wanna do throughout this, right? So step number 1, you wanna get very clear on the problem your power buyers know that they actually have right now. So you wanna ask yourself, if my ideal client were to Google their problem at midnight, what would they actually type? You need to learn how to speak directly to the symptoms that they recognize before introducing them to the deeper issue, right? So really speaking their language. Most experts make the mistake of speaking to the problem that they know that their clients have, but not necessarily the problem that their clients know that they have. So you really want to understand that you have to communicate to their vision of the problem. And there's a really big difference between the two of those things. So for example, a money mindset coach might know that their clients have limiting beliefs around wealth, but their clients are not thinking that. They think, why do I keep on sabotaging myself every time I'm about to hit my income goals, right? So this is really why you need to start with understanding their language, their frustrations, their day-to-day problems, like how this is showing up for them. And so that you can really bring that experience into the conversation and into your content more and more every single day. So instead of saying something like, I'm going to help you improve executive team performance, you want to say, I help you stop losing great employees and create a company culture where people actually want to stay, right? Can you kind of see the difference between the two of those and how one of them speaks to a different thing, right? So your power buyers aren't really thinking about team performance. They're stressed because they keep losing top talent. You want to make sure that you're meeting your audience exactly where they're at right now. Step number 2 is that you want to create a belief shift that makes your solution feel like the obvious choice. Basically, this is where your angle of mastery comes in. What's the one thing that your audience really needs to understand differently about the problem that they have? Here's what most people miss about belief shifting. It's not about convincing people that they have a problem. It's about really helping them see their situation in a completely different and really honestly unique way. I mean, you want to think about it like this. If somebody believes that their problem is X, they're going to look for solutions to X, right? But what if their real problem is Y? No wonder they've tried things that haven't really worked, right? So this is when you can come in to shift somebody's perspective on why they're actually struggling, like why they're actually experiencing the problem that they have right now. Your solution then becomes the natural next step for those people. So that's what you really want to focus on in terms of your content. For example, one of my clients was a relationship coach who shifted from saying, I help you find love, to saying, I help successful women stop attracting emotionally unavailable partners by breaking the success-driven heartbreak cycle. So it's really a powerful way in communicating and really shifting beliefs. That creates an immediate aha moment for her actual power buyers. And that leads us to step number 3. And what we want to do here is make it really easy for your audience to say yes. Remember that power buyers don't need more convincing. They need clarity. So instead of selling the how, sell the actual transformation. But honestly, here's what's really crucial for you to get. You need to paint this transformation in a way that feels both aspirational and at the same time attainable. Because I feel like too many experts are really doing either like making it sound really easy, which power buyers don't really trust at the end of the day, or they're making it sound way too complicated, which ultimately feels really, really overwhelming. So the sweet spot is really showing them that it's possible while acknowledging that the real work is supposed to be involved behind that at the same time, if that makes sense. So your message should make them feel like finally somebody who actually gets what needs to happen. And when you do this right, you don't need high pressure tactics on sales calls, or you don't need any type of manipulation. Your power buyers will naturally self-select into working with you because they can see exactly how you're gonna come in there and really help them get to where they truly want to go. All right, so that being said, let's bring it all together. If your message is not landing, it's not because you're not an expert, obviously. It's simply because your audience doesn't really see yet the real transformation that you're actually providing for them. So here's the things that you need to do. Number 1, you want to speak to the problem your actual power buyers recognize as problems that they have. Number 2, you want to create a belief shift that makes your offer as the antidote and logical choice for them to go. And number 3, you want to make sure that your message is really clear and action driven, so it's very easy for people to say yes. If you want to know if your content is effectively shifting beliefs and creating demand, what I want to do is hop on with you on a quick 15-minute brand message assessment where I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to make sure that your content is landing, that your message is speaking to the right people. You want to go to brandmessagesession.com right now to book your call, or you're going to find it below this episode somewhere around here. Make sure that you subscribe and you follow me on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and all the different places. And you follow me at Fabi Paolini on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on all the different places. And let me know in the comments, what's the biggest challenge that you're facing when trying to explain what it is that you do? I would love to hear your thoughts, and I will see you in another episode.